All right, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing integers. And actually, it's a little bit easier on the multiplying and dividing side compared to the adding subtracting. So looking at our integer rules chart here, again, recently we just talked about same sign. All we had to do is add the two numbers and take the same sign that they have in common. We talked about the apples, the poison apples. Different sign again, we said that they're going to subtract or take the difference, and then we're going to take the sign of, some of you say, bigger number, but we like saying the one with the greatest absolute value. So that will determine if it's a positive or negative answer. We also talked about we want to go ahead and do adding the opposite, and again, that's referring to the addition and subtraction side. So looking down here at the multiplication and division, I really don't know how to make it easier than this. Now, some students learn a little bit different technique, but all I teach my students is if they have the same sign, it's a positive answer. If they have a different sign, it's a negative answer. I really don't know how to make it easier. Maybe you have a different strategy that you can help us out if students are struggling with this memory or memorization process. Again, when we multiply, same sign, positive answer, different sign, negative answer. So really on the practice problems that we're going to be doing, I'm not really asking you to spend too much time on the multiplication or division part, because again, that's really just elementary numbers there. For 7th and 8th grade, we're talking about the actual signs. So be careful there. And again, another reason that students mess up later on in the year is because they go too quickly on this information here, especially when they get to the distributive property. So let's slow down sometimes. All right, so we're just going to do a few, and again, they're hopefully pretty basic. So right away, again, the way I ask my students to do it is as follows. When you see different signs, automatically, before you even look at the numbers, I ask my students to think about the sign, so it means it's going to be a negative answer. 5 times 6 is 30, so we've got negative 30 here. Now, if you notice on this one, there's not a lot of work involved. So sometimes when we have different assignments, we're going to be looking for different things. So for this one, yeah, basic, just put the answer. But again, I want the thinking behind it. Looking at the signs, negative multiplied by negative. That's the same sign, which means it's a positive answer. Now, you don't have to put the plus sign there like we talked about previously. Some students actually like that, totally up to them. And then when we multiply it, we've got 24. So if you don't want the sign, you're just going to write 24. If you do want the sign, plus or positive 24, perfectly fine for me. But as some of you are thinking about, well, what's high school going to want? High school's just going to want the 24 there. So that's what we're going to do a lot throughout the year, is talk about not only just Math 8, but also what's high school going to want from you. All right, on this problem here, again, my suggestion is to break it up. So I'm going to go ahead and cover it up. So again, if you have your worksheet in front of you, you would just literally cover it up with a note card, your hand, pen, pencil, whatever you'd like to. And then you're really going to have two problems in one. So I've got a negative 5 multiplied by a negative 5. So again, same signs, which gives me a positive 25. Because again, if I'm multiplying it and it has the same sign, positive. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cover up what I just did and uncover this part here. So what we're going to be doing is the second half of the problem. So I've got a positive 3 multiplied by a negative 2. So different signs again. So that means it's going to be a negative 6. So let's uncover this part. Now, some of you may be thinking, do I really have to do that? No, it's just a strategy to help you out. So again, we can use a little dot there. If we'd like to instead, we can use parentheses. We're not going to do the X for multiplication though, okay? Now, this one right here, you know what? I forgot to circle. Let's go back and circle. Because again, we circle the problems that we do together so we know for sure that they are correct. All right, now that I have simplified my problem a little bit using my rules, I'm going to continue to use my rules. I see the signs first. I see a positive multiplied by a negative, which means different signs, so therefore it will be a negative answer. And then again, if you can't do it in your head, go off to the side and do 25 times 6. Or you can be thinking about it, 6 quarters. Let you figure that out. Put your answer there. Well, if 4 quarters is $1, 6 quarters is $1.50. Again, negative 150. Now, if you want to highlight your answers, you can do that. I'm not too big on stressing the highlighting the answers, especially on the worksheet. You've got that nice box there to put your work and then your answer. It's really just the last piece that is identified. All right, so the same rules apply again for division. So I'm not really testing you on your division skills. I'm testing you on your memorization of the rules. So again, I see same signs. Negative divided by negative, same sign, so it's a positive answer. Plus sign, positive sign I mean, or without the sign. That's a little bit more high school related. Now some of you may be thinking, well, I don't know that division. Remember, you could always go off to the side and do your elementary division. Again, our main concern for Math 8 is remembering the sign rules. So 7 and 8, that is 1. This is how I teach my own kids to do division. Make sure you put the 0 there, because remember, it's really 70. Subtract. 7 times 2 is 14. So that means my answer is going to be a positive 12. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay, so we've got a combination, but if you notice, they are all positive answers. So that means it's all positive numbers. So that means my answer is automatically a positive answer. So on your multiple choice quizzes, tests, or whatever, you can eliminate any of the negative answers. Now, there's a few ways to complete this problem. The first way is just traditional multiplication. So I'm going to change that to actually a dot. Well, you know what? Let's change it to parentheses. That's better. So the first way, again, is doing 12 times 14 and then dividing by 4. So if you need to, go off to the side, 14 times 12. We should know 12 times 12 is 144, so it's going to be a little bit greater than that. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Placeholder, my elementary teacher taught me. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. So that means I have 168. Now, the one drawback about that method is now I need to do some more division. Four and 1 is 0. That's what I teach my own kids at home. 4 and 16 is 4. That's 16, but it's really 160. So when I subtract it, I've got an 8. 4 and 8 is 2. So that means my answer in its most simplified form is going to be 42. Now, that's one strategy. You may be thinking, but Mr. Murillo, there's got to be a better way than that. And some of you may have it already identified. So if you like that method, by all means, do that method. But here's what I think might be better for some of you as you are getting ready for your fractions lessons on the next day. Oh no, fractions. Fractions, again, is all about reducing. So we'll get to that a little bit more in depth. But maybe you just notice, well, Mr. Murillo, if I technically just cover this up, it means 12 divided by 4. And we know that 12 divided by 4 is really a 3. 12 divided by 4 is a 3. So it really means 3 multiplied by, and if I remove this, I've got a 14 there. So it really just means 3 times 14. So if you notice, it's a little bit less work there because I was able to use some of my previous skills to help me out. And then I would just go ahead, if I cannot finish it in my head, is 14 times 3. Got 12. Aha, same answer of 42. So remember, we're not stressing too much about the actual numbers. We are focusing on the signs, though. So for this one, we knew right away that our sign was simply going to be a positive answer. All right, let's see, did I have a last one there? 23. Nope, I guess this is our last one. So what I'm going to ask you to do on this last problem here is really 2 problems in one. Let's get rid of this little bar here. Gonna circle. Man, did I circle that one? Come on, Mr. Murillo. What about this one? Yeah, okay. So on 23, the instructions are really to compare your numbers. So once you have it simplified, so in other words, I need a little bit of work, the two numbers, the two values, and then you're going to go ahead and compare it. It could possibly be equal to each other, or you could be using your inequality sign. Excuse me. So one of my sons, he is going to be starting third grade. He was doing some problems like this last year, but remember, it's just third grade math, so it's simple addition, subtraction, or sorry, second grade math, simple addition, subtraction, and so on. So we're going to do the same thing, but again, you're dealing with your negative signs. We know that a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so underneath, we're going to go ahead and put a positive 5. Over here on the right side, different signs. If they are different signs in multiplication or division, it's going to be a negative sign answer. 5 divided by 1 is 5, so that means I've got negative 5. In this space provided, we're going to go ahead and put our sign. Now, obviously, it is not an equal sign because 5 does not equal negative 5. So it's got to be one of our inequality signs. Now, remember, elementary style, crocodile wants to eat the bigger one. They really don't want us talking like that anymore. But again, it gets the concept around, or it helps students understand a little bit better. So 5 and negative 5. So if you're trying to do that little crocodile idea, but really they want us to use the words. We would say 5 is greater than negative 5. So this is the work that we're looking for, a little bit of mental math, practicing our signs, and then using your correct inequality sign. So in other words, if you just put your inequality sign without these numbers here, you'd have an incomplete assignment. We got to make sure we're practicing doing our correct work. Excellent. All right. Just quick review, back to our signs like we were talking about for multiplying and dividing integers. Again, if it is the same sign, positive answer, different sign, negative answer. We've already completed a few of your problems from the actual assignment. Your goal is to continue to complete the remaining assignment. All right, be awesome.